I'm Brandon with commit3x.com. I want to tell you about a little bit of work I've been doing before I opened the website on the ranking area. The rank tab of the website was pretty basic, and I felt like I should add some stuff before I opened up the website. So that's why I didn't do that yet. The website is going to be very popular when I open it up, but I don't want to open it up and then have to make a bunch of changes right away. That would just confuse people. So the rank tab is broken up into four different areas, because I want to add some charts, add some detail to it. So commit3x.com has actually 4 charts to offer. And of course the Intel reports, which is another thing. But the rank tab. So the rank tab has 4 charts. The first chart is a list of all the people as across an axis with vertical bars, how much votes they have. And it starts with the most votes at the left, and then it goes down to if there are people with 0 votes on the far right. So every person gets a vertical column. And this chart, the interesting thing of it, of course you can look for people to see how popular they are on this chart, but also you can see what the distribution of popularity is. You can see if maybe there are only a few very popular people, or if it's more of an even distribution across. The hockey bell curve, different shapes, the chart. So that's the people chart. Then there's the votes chart. This one is demonstrating and illustrating where the votes went. It's sort of like you'd think of a pie chart. So the person with the most votes is listed first, and then the person with fewer votes, and it goes like this. But the width of the column is adjusted for how many votes the person obtained. And then people with no votes are not shown on the chart. So this one chart horizontally shows all of the votes in the whole system, but broken up to see who got votes, like how many each person got, or how much more popular someone in place number 1 is compared to someone over here in maybe place number 200, 300. So that's the votes chart. Then there is a rankings chart under the rank tab. The rankings chart gives your place in categories or levels. So I split the whole number of votes into 5 levels, and then based on how many votes each person has, I put them into a rank. And this chart is actually a pictogram. It shows little icons to kind of illustrate how many people have each level of popularity, as it were. So that's the rankings chart. And then there is one more. It's called the network chart. And it's actually an interconnection diagram is the way you would call it. But what this is showing is it shows the patterns of voting. So it shows who voted for whom. Now, it doesn't give names. You have to go to the Intel report to get names. But it does show patterns so that you could have an idea. You could get kind of a picture of the overall scheme of things. So the way this chart is set up, it's a circular thing. And on the circle, all around, are all the people. And each person, how big of a part of the circle they get, it's based on really how many votes they had. So if one person had a third of the circle, that means they got a whole third of all the votes in the whole system. Then the sections, each person is connected by an arc to people that they voted for or that voted for them. So you can see a line from one side of the circle to the other. It means that these 2 people voted for each other. And then the next thing is the darker the line, the more votes that were placed. Now, how is this interesting? Well, what it's showing you is if a whole bunch of people are voting for one specific person, or if more certain people are voting for certain people, but in a cliche type manner, a clique manner. They're kind of in their own little group. And it also shows if one person maybe put a lot of votes towards one other person. You can kind of tell, because if there's a really dark line, you could see that maybe one person got a lot of votes from a different source. But you can't see the name this way, but maybe you could tell. So that's the rank tab, the rankings area. And it's a way to visualize what's happening and be able to tell your place. Well, I was going to say your place in the world, but let's just say your place in the social world, as it were. So that's the ranking system, the website, commit3x.com. It's a social proof website where you tell how many friends you really have. I'm Brandon. Come to commit3x.com and use your 3 votes. So how the website works is you have to use a credit card to verify your name. You join the website, you get to vote for who you like. And then after that, you can see the rankings of all the people, see who has the highest scores.